Welcome, everybody, back to the Three Alarm Comics podcast, a division of a shared universe. Today, we are joined by some good friends of mine, Carl Wallace and Rachel Wallace. But I'm very, very happy to get to talk to a very good friend of mine that I haven't talked to in quite a while, and it's going to be great to catch up, Mr. James Leary.
Hello, everybody.
Just to remind anybody who hasn't been Netflixing and chilling and binge watching and stuff. James has done a number of different projects. One of the big things a lot of people know him from is he was Clem the Lucifer Demon on Buffy the Vampire Slayer for about 3 seasons.
2 seasons, seasons 6 and 7.
And he also has done quite a bit of great commercials and done a lot of video game work, which is something that there we go. There he is. Him and James Martin.
I got some weird light going on here. Yeah.
But
there we
one
go.
thing I kind of want to delve into is about what we talked a little bit earlier, but what's going on with your life, what's about to go on in your life, but
sure.
But also refresh people as far as you decided to go a different route, even though I know you still enjoy your acting and everything else, but you're doing something that a lot of the younger generation is going to enjoy, is dealing with video games.
I hope so, yes.
So by all means, take it away.
Cut to a Sunday afternoon, 1973.
I was just a young strapping lad.
So I say my 10-minute claim to fame has been being on Buffy, and that 10 minutes seems to have stretched into 20 some odd years now. God, that's depressing. But when I first got out into the world, I started out as an actor. Went to Chicago, studied improv, went to LA, started doing commercials and small parts and various things, and then got on Buffy and a couple of other shows. And then after about a decade of that, about 12 years of that, Hollywood had kicked my butt tremendously, because it's a rough town. It may look glamorous, it's rough. And then came to Texas. I'm originally from New York, but moved to Texas in the 5th grade, and then did high school, college here, and then after that did Chicago and LA, and so came back to Austin and was kind of trying to figure out what life skills I had in order to be employable. And of those skills, I could act, I could do VO, and I could write. Because during the same time that I was in LA doing the acting, pursuing an acting career, I was also working with 2 writing partners and pursuing a writing career, screenwriting, sketch writing, website comedy writing, all that type of stuff. And I thought, well, maybe that skill, I was a huge video game fan in the 80s and 90s. And at that time, video games were very, in the early, starting with stuff like Doom and Max Payne and Halo and the first few Call of Duties and Medal of Honors, games were very narrative based, and I thought I could do that. So I started working for a company here on an MMO RPG called Wizard 101, and then I moved on to a company called DC Universe Online, which was amazing. And then recently, for the last year, I have been working with Ubisoft on a new Assassin's Creed VR game, and that is all I can tell you about it.
Super secret.
The NDA I signed was extensive.
Don't talk to anybody.
But
Right.
That's awesome.
No, it's amazing. It's great to get to work on, especially such an incredibly well-known franchise.
Yeah.
What they call in the business a AAA franchise, and just getting to be able to play in that world is really awesome, and in really new cutting-edge technology.
You're working on those, and you've been doing voice acting for a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
and so you kind of become a jack of all trades, bro.
Master of none.
Kind of to fill a little people in, we've known Jimmy for quite a while. I consider him part of the family. Very, very good.
Thank you.
Good friend. Actually, I'll have to go grab it off the shelf in a second. We actually even, worked on a comic book together.
We did.
done.
It might be time to do another one.
We'll talk after this, because I mean you're
and maybe this time I'll actually send you an actual script.
Well, I said
instead of a short story that you have to figure out.
Well, it was actually fun. I mean, Mitch did a great job.
He did. It was incredible.
Interior artworks. Brian King helped doing some of the inks. Steve Scott did the covers, and quite honestly, blew them out of the water.
Yep. Or out of the toilet, shall we say?
Yeah, we actually did. We surprised with Jimmy with we did a cover. So the name of the thing was James Leary's what was it?
House of Screams. House of Screams.
But as we were coming up with the trying to come up with a name for it, we were asking James about the what should we call it, everything else. Well, through the messages and talks and emails, one of the suggestions that kind of came up, we we're like, oh yeah, that's funny, but that would never go. But me and Steve decided to go ahead and run with it, and did a very limited run. And we all have,
the alternative cover.
I think I have 3 copies left of James Leary's Scary Shit.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I think, how long was it? I think the first time we met was in this art. It was like
WizardCon New Orleans.
I think it was WizardCon New Orleans.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But
that was a heck of a weekend.
So something I found out, like so as we were talking about beforehand. So you actually got married.
I did in 2018.
To Missy, who quite honestly,
Yes.
we met her when you came down for Pensacon one year.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
An incredible woman, very, very sweet. Very good for you. You seem very
absolutely.
Good for her. Completely fell in love with her from the very first time we met her. I'm very, very happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm glad things have been going in a positive direction. Everybody needs something like that going on in their life.
Absolutely, especially the last year or so the world has been having. It's very good. It's been a struggle, as everyone has. It's just like every day. Is today Sunday? Is today Wednesday? Is it 2020? I don't know what day it is. All the days are the same. This is. I literally wake up and come to my office, and that's my day. So,
but I mean, on the bright side, though, for me, we've actually been able to do stuff like using the streaming technology.
Right.
Freaking phenomenal. We've been able to reach out to the rest of the world. We've been able to keep touch with people that we care about, and unfortunately, we should all be a lot better than we have been as far as keeping in touch with the people we care about. But even with all this, real life gets in the way.
It does. Thank God for this technology, or else I don't think I'd have the job I have. I'm supposed to. My position is actually in Dusseldorf, Germany, and I am still currently in Austin, Texas. Hopefully to be going there soon. But because of all these amazing streaming platforms, Zoom and Teams and various other things, we're actually able to have a multi-country team that works together every day, and it's kind of crazy. I spend, like I said, I was telling you earlier, I spend my morning usually from about 8:30 till 11 in meetings, Zoom meetings, just like this, with people all over the world, and it's really exciting. Like 20 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to do that.
No, I mean that's kind of one of the cool things is I've been able to. And this is one of the odd things. Through this whole streaming technology, I was able to do something as a child I never would have dreamed in the remote, chance of me ever. I mean, if you would have talked to the young me and said, there's a gentleman by the name of Mike Grell who is a comic book artist, did the Arrow, and Mike growing up idolized him, just completely, just was in love with this guy.
He's amazing.
And super, and through the years, kind of, got to know Mike. Same thing, I consider Mike part of the family. But I'm telling you right now, the 14, 15-year-old me is like squealing like a little school kid. I got to host his wedding about a month and a half ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
And not only did I get to host his wedding, since I am an ordained minister for the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. So yes. I actually got to pronounce them man and wife and got I was the one who married them and did everything. So I am just this whole new technology thing has, like I said, allowed me to do something I never in my right mind thought I'd be able to do.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's on the phone with Mark right now.
We're ready for you.
Sorry, everybody. He's on the phone with Mark Texeira, who's supposed to be part here now.
We're live, sir. We're ready for
Tell
you.
him to check his Instagram messages. I sent him a link. Click on it, and he can get on here.
Is he still in New York?
No, he actually moved to Ontario.
He's on his Instagram?
Oh, you moved to Ontario?
No, Ontario, California.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I might have to step away for a second. I'm leaving you to Carl and Rachel for a second. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that,
Look at your
guys.
messages.
I want to ask you more about the Assassin's Creed thing. So what is
Sure.
your job? What is it?
I am what's known as a narrative designer, which is a fancy video game way of saying writer. So I'm dealing with plot, storylines, dialogue,
We're not using Zoom. We're using
basically anything that any character says on screen. That's part of my purview, as well as doing some stuff like UI stuff, anything that's player facing. That's all part of a narrative designer's job description, and it's something I had been working towards since 2011 when I first started getting into the industry. So it was a way for me to be able to take what I had learned over the years as a writer and try to fit it into a profitable business model that would hire me.
So if I understand this right, so you kind of get the story and then you're telling the story. You're actually the one taking the dialogue to bring the story along.
Right, correct. Yeah, and also being involved in helping develop the story from a high level. And then, basically anytime anybody says something, I'm part of that. Can be involved in some of the voiceover stuff. I've done that before. I've directed voiceover, working with cinematics people and mocap people. It's really quite amazing. And for a while in the industry, like I'd say the mid 20 teens, it seemed like everything was moving towards, the battle royales and the multiplayer stuff. But now it does seem like narrative storytelling, giving a player a story and letting them live that story is really starting to come back. And I always viewed video games as a movie you get to play.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's very exciting. It's really cool. I'm really excited for this project to hit the market. And unfortunately, I can't say too terribly much about it other than it's an Assassin's Creed VR game. So it's going to be really awesome.
That's very, very cool.
Yeah. And tying into comic books, my last gig in the industry was working for DC Universe Online, which is a massively multiplayer online game, and I got to write for Wonder Woman and Superman and Batman and Lady Blackhawk and Wildcat and Vandal Savage and all these amazing characters that I grew up loving, and so getting to write stuff, and we had Susan. I can't think of her last name, Susan Eisenberg, who voiced Wonder Woman for all the Justice League cartoons. Voiced our game. Kevin Conroy voiced the game. So getting to work with people like that was just absolutely amazing.
And
James Marsters actually plays Lex Luthor in our game.
That is a small world.
I know, right?
I was about to say, I played the DC Universe Online game. I had no idea that you were part of the writers.
Yep.
That's
I started with the set Amazon Fury 3. I don't know if you're familiar with all the later DLCs, but I started with Amazon Fury 3. I did Age of Justice and the Anti-Monitor little mini DLC and the Starro mini DLC. I worked on every single one of those. I was sort of the narrative lead for all of those, as a matter of fact.
No, I'm not
Okay, I have another question about Germany. Do you
Sure.
speak any German yet?
No, you don't.
No,
No.
that is a hard language. It is. I know how to say Entschuldigung, which it sounds very commanding, right? That means I'm sorry. Only Germans would make "I'm sorry" sound like "I'm sorry."
But I bet more of the Germans speak English than we speak German.
Everyone there speaks English. Like most of so the team I work with is an international team. We've got a lot of Brits, a lot of people from Eastern Europe, a lot of Germans, just people from all over the world, which is really incredible. Just that, all those people. And again, we work with so many different studios. We work with studios in London, North Carolina, Montreal, Mumbai. We work with so many different people. And yes, the majority of them do speak 2 languages. Their native language and then English. And they tend to speak English better than I do.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So, like, when you go over there, you're looking at like 2 adventures. Adventure with
Yes.
actually meeting everybody and doing it in person,
Yes.
as well as moving to a different country.
As well as moving to a brand new country, although we're very much looking forward to it. It'll be an adventure. How do you pass up something like that?
Oh, yeah.
That opportunity, because we can be a 45-minute flight to London, a 2-hour train ride gets us to Paris.
Yeah.
A 5-hour plane ride gets us to like Prague. So
Well,
it's.
Carl studied. He did a study abroad program in London for.
Oh, awesome! How was that?
London's amazing.
Yeah, London's great. It's expensive.
Yes, we went there for our honeymoon actually.
Oh, awesome!
So, and we've been wanting to go back. We were actually planning to go to Scotland, but then everything,
right,
happened. So
we went crazy.
But I want to go back to Europe because it's.
Want you to do that in or there?
Hopefully everything. I really do think that everything soon within the next. It is. It's amazing, and plus you're able to go to so many places very quickly.
Yeah.
I've been to London many times, Ireland, Paris, and it is incredible. Paris is amazing.
Because one of my favorite artists is Toulouse-Lautrec. So
that's awesome.
I want to go see like Toulouse-Lautrec's artwork in Toulouse. So
Paris is incredible.
Just to go check out his artwork.
So hopefully soon.
So I know. And then Carl's a Wallace, so he's always, we want to go to Scotland to
right
history, and I want to see the Highlands, and I just want to travel.
There you go. I'm hanging up on you.
I do know.
Oh wait, hold on.
Uh-oh, I see something.
Hold on, you there?
Something's brewing.
All right,
Something's brewing.
You must have some slow internet.
Let's just say Marvel.
Close some of the windows. So, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
All right.
All right. Well, you're good to go. All right, hey.
Now we're getting the echo.
Okay, I'll turn this down. Okay,
Yeah,
so what's happening? Hey, that's Carl. And that's Rachel. And that's Scott.
That's Scott.
And then
That's James.
James over here. Y'all have met numerous times before.
We have met numerous times. Mostly in New Orleans, so I wouldn't be surprised if you don't remember.
That one time, yes, I remember that.
That one time.
Yeah, I mean, we were smoking out of a certain thing, yes.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's legal here in this state, so.
Base rumor.
So James, somebody had a question for you. They're asking, how did you get your writing jobs for games?
I had a friend, quite honestly, who worked as a producer for one of the Austin companies, and I started as an intern at like 37 years old.
Wow.
So that's how I got paid. It wasn't great pay, but I did get paid. But that's how I started. I started interning, knowing that I wanted to move my way into like the narrative, storytelling, writing portion of it. I started that in 2011.
And Mark, just out of curiosity, are you supposed to be showing that work?
Oh, he's frozen. Wait, no, he's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only show the work of a project that I can't talk about. So I'm showing the work, but
yeah, we're not supposed to be seeing any of that. Nobody should be seeing any of that.
Yeah, I mean, you do all this work and you wait for companies to announce your project, and A year later, you're still working on the project. You're like,
That squealing you hear right now is lawyers.
yeah.
They hired more Texeira. They knew they were good. So.
That's true.
Although I created my own toy for the project. You can see there's a drawing. This is a toy. I have to do a toy version of the character before I started the work.
You're grabbing onto.
What kind of toy is that, Mark? The tail end of that toy
Is that an adult toy, Mark?
looks like something that goes in a tail.
It's,
Well,
Not that I would know.
this went south really, really quick.
Only seen
From being very
pictures.
nice professional, then Mark joins, and it's just all over the hell.
Oh, how I missed Mark.
I kept changing the costume design between the stories, so I had to make sure I had like one definitive like set of
Pants.
I did sketches. I can show you sketches. I did sketches, but
Are you supposed to be showing us any of this?
Yeah, I know this is stuff that hasn't even been published yet, and Mark's showing everybody everything.
So
Mark,
lawyers somewhere in New
I
York
can't
having a
talk about the
conniption
title.
right now.
I can't talk about the title, but I can show that's gonna be the cover. Where's the cover?
That's like you, James. Yeah, I'm working on
It's
stuff.
gonna be color, so
Here's pictures of all the stuff that's going on that I'm working on.
Oh my God.
Mark, go ahead.
I know my company has lawyers surfing the internet 24/7.
Oh man.
Well, that's the frustrating thing is like, you work on a project like this and then they don't speak about it for like an entire year. So you just have to sort of avoid everybody, like I have been avoiding Scott and until this project finally surfaces, then I can talk all I want. Oops. Hello. You guys are still here?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh, Mark, make sure you realize we're live right now, right?
There you go. I lost you for a second. Yes, I know you're live. I know, but you know me. I'm just sort of.
Oh,
That's why he hasn't taken his hands off yet.
yeah.
I'm still in California time. Is there sun outside there? Do you guys have sun?
It doesn't get dark. It doesn't get
Yeah, we
dark.
got plenty of sun.
8 p.m.
Yeah, it's a little overcast
Okay.
here, but it's pretty nice. It's what
Well,
about?
yeah,
80?
we're California. We got overcast today, so.
Yeah, if you're in
So
California,
it's a
you always
perfect time.
call smog.
I never lived in
He's not-
California. I'm loving it. It's kind of like Biloxi, Like it never gets a winter, right? Biloxi never gets a winter, right?
Well, we get a winter, but
Get the day.
We
Yeah,
get
we
like
had
a
like one
week,
day.
maybe at the most.
I think once every 10, 15 years, we make it a little snow and people can build
Yeah.
mud on the beach.
But,
Austin's the same way,
but in
isn't
New
it?
York,
Well, no,
But
Austin
you'll
is the
get-
same
you'll
way.
get-
Oh,
No, I was just gonna say,
Boston?
except for this year when we got the snow apocalypse.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
y'all
yeah,
actually
y'all
got
did.
y'all got
It was brutal.
like crazy.
Boston's bad. If they shovel their parking area, they put a can or something, a chair where they just shovel, so you can't park there. Otherwise, you start a war.
Well, actually, I think Houston probably got more snow than Boston did this last year.
Well, that's what I say. Austin everything was iced over for about 5 days. It was insane.
Austin.
And it's the first time that has happened since like
That-
1946.
That is amazing.
Trees broke,
Yeah.
pipes were bursting everywhere, power went out. We lost power for like 18 hours.
Well, that was the
Wow.
big difference. Up north, they're used to a little bit of the cold.
Right.
They're built for it.
Too much.
In Texas, that's like the apocalypse.
There's no salt trucks going out salting the roads. People were like, the roads had like a 4-inch, like 3-inch thick sheet of ice. We didn't leave our house for 4 days straight.
I can imagine people going out
Could
there
not get out of the
putting
house.
salt in their driveway.
Yeah,
4 days.
it was nuts.
Wow.
Everybody went crazy.
See, I can deal with hurricane weather, but I don't know if I can deal with snow and no power.
Don't hurricanes normally lock out? Oh, well, with the snow. No, it was
Yeah, I can deal with snow and no power, but I can
Right.
deal with like hurricanes with no power.
right. No, it was
And
the one day we got a little worried. It
And we have-
was
yeah.
it got down to about, I think it was about 40. So it got down to 7 degrees. here in Austin, and it was about 38 degrees in the house.
Oh my God!
Because we had no power.
Connecticut,
bundled up.
I lived in Connecticut. We never got 7 degrees. So yeah, that's cold.
It was crazy.
Welcome to Texas.
That's cold.
Yep.
I guess it's further north. I guess so.
No, it was just
it
literally was just this freak cold front, like once in a 50-year cold front that came through, and then the Texas power grid is so jacked up that they were doing roving blackouts, and then like millions of people were without power, and it was crazy.
Yeah, and I heard about even people who had sunroofs, energy
The solar
from
power,
Texas.
yeah,
all the pipes froze, so they couldn't get the heat from the.
Couldn't get heat from the pipes froze. Everything was breaking. It was a crazy week.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
But thankfully, everybody was okay, and here in our house, everyone was fine. We were a little stirred. It was like shining at the end. It was like all work and no play makes James a dull boy.
That power grid of yours in Texas.
It's a thing of beauty.
Pay over.
There were people who were. They did some people got like $68,000 electric bills, but I think the state stepped in and said no, we're not going to do that. But the whole power grid of the state is.
I'll break in for 1 second. I'm going to bring another buddy of ours, Mr. CJ Cullen. So
hello.
I want to introduce CJ to everybody. CJ is a good friend of ours who is also part of the whole shared universe stuff with Ming Chen and Mike Zapsik, Kevin Smith, all those guys.
Yeah.
CJ, at the top right, we have
awesome.
We have James Leary. James, an old friend of ours who played Clem on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. At the bottom right, we got Mr. Mark Texeira, man of many talents.
A man who needs no introduction.
Mark's done a lot of comic book stuff growing up. He's done pretty much you name a comic book character or a company, he's either doing it right now or he's done it in the past. So
cool.
I was one of the few who was on the House of Mysteries in '79 before they canceled the book.
Oh Jesus! Actually, believe it or not, Carl, he was a huge fan of yours. Something I already knew, but he walked in. He's like, "Did you know Mark did a cover for Public Enemy?"
Yes, that was the second Public Enemy rap album cover.
That's crazy.
I probably have that somewhere.
I've been known for Skulls, and one of the leaders of Public Enemy I had to meet up with. I don't know why I'm blanking now. It wasn't the one with the clock on his chest. That's the one.
Wow.
That's the one.
So Public Enemy, you had Ice Cube, Eazy-E.
No, that's a Nebula.
Well, I met Chuck D.
I'm
a
white guy. I'm going to shut up.
Play.
That was
I met
embarrassing.
Chuck D. At Def Jam Records, and they paid about $5,000. That was a nice bill. And they gave me about 2 weeks to paint this thing, and everyone was doing digital at that point. So I brought in this giant painting, and they said, "What are we gonna do with this thing?" And they scanned it, obviously. And
Oh no, I bet that was an amazing painting.
Whatever happened to the painting?
I think I traded it for a Frisetta sketch. I think I got a good deal out of it. I got a good deal out of it. So I mean, and then I did 2 more paintings for rap albums. One was this girl Jewel. I don't have the paintings here, and another one is Flesh and Bone, and he's sort of like doing that sort of rap thing, sort of. And then they had a new art director, and I was done. And that's it.
Well, we need to get you to do a painting of James as Clem one day.
That'd be awesome.
For when he was on Buffy. So.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Many
And then just-
many moons ago.
Yeah, I may have to commission that and just maybe get like a Nutrigrain bar in the background. Just to,
Well, Clem could be eating a Nutrigrain bar.
yeah. So actually, I'm gonna have to bring this up. I'm gonna show it on the screen.
Okay.
James actually, believe it or not, like I said, it was a you said it was actually for a sizzle reel, but it was for a Nutrigrain commercial. It's about a minute long, but quite honestly, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It was absolutely hilarious.
It was a heck of a day.
Seen it? You absolutely have to. Let me see. There it is right here. We bring it up on the screen real quick.
There you go.
While he's doing that, everyone say hi to Steve Scott, who's watching us right now.
Hey,
Hi, Steve.
So
I'm gonna come see you.
So here
We're
is
out in Germany.
the commercial for Nutrigrain that he did.
Larry, I'm quitting the company and starting my own. By the way, I feel great. Steve, you're a great guy with great skills. You're gonna do great. What the hell? I'm coming with you. Hey, you're hot and I feel great. Let's get married.
All right, but I'll answer kids.
Me too. $500.
Yeah. Babies everywhere.
What's up? Me, and I feel great. You feel great? Yeah, really great. Ooh, you do feel great. I just shattered my hand. Oh, yeah! You get keep on the phone right now. Steve, this is Bill. He owns the place, and what do they want? I'm rich, I'm always tan, and I got a great ass too, but my marriage sucks, so I hate my life. Bill, I'm Steve. I'm marrying a girl just because of her looks, and we're rushing right into making babies. I got no income because I just quit my job, and I don't care because I feel great.
Yeah, so now I want a Nutrigrain bar after reading that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was the. Well,
Point.
that is clearly from a very long time ago.
And babies everywhere.
That was shot in 2003, and it was never part of any official Nutrigrain ad campaign. It was a director by the name of Justin Reardon, who had been an advertising copywriter who had basically created the "Was Up" campaign. And he wanted to What's up? So he won a bunch of awards for that, did all of that, and then wanted to start directing. And so he shot a series of all these spec commercials, is what they're called. So it was just for a production company. A production company wanted to get a sizzle reel for him, and he did 6 or 7 of these little commercials, and they put it up on their website so that potential clients could come look and see this guy's work. Well, somehow this is pre-YouTube, pre-viral video days, and a website by the name of eBaum's World. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
World, yeah.
Found it and slashed it across their stuff, and within 3 days, it got 3 million hits in 3 days.
Wow.
And it crashed the production company's website. It was crazy. So it was one of the first viral videos, and it was, people have argued that people have come up to me and been like, "Oh, I saw that on TV. It was great." I was like, "No, you didn't. You never ever saw that on television. I know you think you did, but you did not."
Yeah.
But it was a tremendous amount of fun. It's probably one of the most fun days I've ever had as an actor, because I typically get told to bring things way down. I have a very expressive face, and I tend to be over the top. And that day, the director was like, "No, bigger, more, go for it, do more." And the actress in that is Precious Chong, who is Tommy Chong's stepdaughter.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yep. That was a very, very fun, very fun day, and in younger circles, I'm known more for that than for Buffy.
Well, CJ, yours coming in. Do you?
Yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot for a second. Do you have any questions for either James or Mark?
Well, I was just wondering, actually, because you're talking about the commercials. Back in the day, if you did a commercial and a SAG commercial, you're making money nonstop. But nowadays, what is it? They're doing a lot of non-union stuff now. They're getting away with all this. It's
so
weird.
here's if everyone wants a really boring lecture on how the bottom fell out of being a working actor from a bitter old former working actor in the early on, say you booked a national commercial, it would air on the top 3 networks. And you would make a decent chunk of change for that, depending on how long they aired it. Commercials, if you remember from the 80s and 90s, used to run for like a year.
Yeah, like a year, yeah.
And every time it aired, you got a little chunk of change. So you could, if you got a big hit commercial, you could make, say, $100,000 over 2 years. And if, say, you book 2 of those, you're making a decent living.
Yeah.
What started to happen was with the advent of cable, they would do something called a buyout. So they'd pay you like $1,500 and they'd get to air it 10,000 times on cable. And then as things started to progress, where you could make, say, a decent living, what's called a working class living, especially in California. If you book 2 or 3 national commercials in a year, you could make a living.
Yeah.
Then it was like you have to book 6 national commercials in a year to make a living. And then it was like you got to book 10 because the amount of money just kept coming down. And now everything's non-union or stars celebrities.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's why I left the industry in 2010. It got so hard to make a living. And I'm a little bitter, but I'm not whining. It's just to answer your question, yes, you used to be able to make a decent living doing commercials, and now it's. I don't know how anybody.
I'm going to use that as a segue. Speaking of making money, into something. Mark, and I'm going to put Mark on the spot here for a second, but Mark actually now is along with working on the comic work too, also has a Patreon.
Ooh.
So anybody who's watching, you can go on there. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the bottom as well. The website to his Patreon. Let me pull it off. But so that's Mark's Patreon. You can go in there and he's got. I think there's different tiers, but I know there's certain tiers where after a year you get a free sketch from him.
I lost my audio.
I'm gonna let Mark.
I got my audio back right just now.
But I'll let you, Mark. You can talk about what the tiers are. Maybe
he froze up.
Is he frozen? I think he's frozen.
Do you want me to push what?
Oh, hey, Mark, if you can, like I said, Wi-Fi is really bad for StreamYard. If you've got like a internet cable, you can plug in your computer. It'll help get rid of some of the you're jumping around like crazy right now.
Okay.
I'm starting to think he's just doing a bit.
Mark isn't
my Patreon window.
The bandwidth is not great.
My whole life's a bit, but no. This is, I'm not used to this. Is like I did an interview with Italy yesterday, and he's going, "Everything man." I was like, okay.
Well, you know what? I'll go through.
I think we just showed it was a remark sketch. That was a remark sketch I did for.
I can hear him fine.
Oh, where are you?
All right, Mark,
The suspense is killing me.
Yeah, it's like this is like the ultimate in buffering right here.
But the sound quality's fine. The sound quality is totally there.
Go.
What if you exit out and come back in? Sometimes that works.
Yeah, hey Mark,
Let me get rid of my.
try exiting out of it and coming back in. That may reset your connection to make it come through better.
My sun is going down now. It's
have
getting
another
darker and darker.
Mark,
Mark,
close all the streaming porn windows. It's really eating up your bandwidth.
Yeah, the porn gets you every time.
Every time.
You know, I hate to say it, the window that I had up was my Patreon window, but it's slowing everything down.
Oh.
Well, that's because you got all the porn on there.
I just got rid of my Yahoo. I don't want to get
Did
rid
you
of my
also just get rid of
Dropbox.
your
I'm sending
AOL?
stuff out to the editor today.
Is it dial up?
Oh my God!
Yeah, I just
You
got rid
on
of
a
my
1400 baud modem?
Yahoo.
I mean, CompuServe is that beats up a lot of stuff.
It's a family
You've got
modem.
mail.
That's why I don't do these. I don't really have a professional setup, as it were.
I mean,
You just gotta get a cable long enough to go.
I don't even talk to my editors.
Just get an Ethernet cable long enough to go from wherever your modem is into your computer. It'll solve all of it.
Mhm.
Then tape it to the floor, which is what I literally had to do. My wife was not thrilled.
Oh, see,
Just
if
go-
I hooked up an Ethernet. If I hooked up an Ethernet.
Yeah, you gotta get
No,
the you gotta get the cable.
I don't have
You
an
gotta get the
Ethernet.
cable.
well,
Well, if you just go from the back of your modem, if you get a long
Yeah,
enough, like tell it the way you gotta get just.
what you do, if it comes to that, you stick your
No,
finger in
here's-
and you're over there, the other one. So
Just put your tongue in the USB port.
the modem's out there, but I don't have an Ethernet. Like would solve all the problems.
There's no Ethernet. How else?
I have internet, but no Ethernet. Like more immediate.
you just don't have the cable.
Yeah, you just need the cable.
Well, it is what it is. I don't know.
You know what? Honestly,
It's getting better. It's getting better.
I also work as an IT
Oh, yeah.
consultant. In case everybody was wondering, I don't do that. That was a joke.
we're not going to talk about where your tongue is. Oh man! Wow, this has gone downhill really quickly.
Oh, boy.
What did you expect? You got a Leary and a Texeira on the line. What
Well, this is
else
my
can
first
happen?
appearance.
No, I would. No, I
Well-
did want to do. I just wanted to make sure we go through it. I did want to talk about Bart's Texas Patreon thing, but I won't talk about Bart's text. But there's different tiers on there, and different ones will allow you to get different perks. You can start as much for $1, or you can go all the way up to I think $20 at the top one, and at the end of the year you get a sketch from him, which might be something your son might be interested in. Mark
I know.
goes on there. You can for $1 a month, you get to see all the stuff he puts on there, which he shows progress on a lot of different things he's working on, even though it's just tight shot panels, because he's not supposed to be showing the stuff he's working on. But then
No.
so you can look at people and get some ideas, and especially Mark, James's son is a young artist up and coming who's trying to find his way and learn things. So
He's 13.
Something you could also put on the Patreon is a way to allow this next generation who's aspiring to be where you are now an avenue and a way to get there.
Man, that's amazing. That's such when I grew up in New York, I lived up in the Bronx, and New York was on 59th Street, and we lived on 79th, so I just took a train to Marvel and showed my work in the
That's crazy.
late 70s, early 80s. Now you have to get online and hope an editor will see you.
It's nuts.
It's a lot harder to do a lot of things these days. When I got an internship with Kevin Smith, I emailed him on AOL, and I said, "Hey, I need an internship. I live by you." And he said, "Sure, come on in."
Now you're showing your age. You messaged Kevin Smith on AOL.
Which he probably still has that. Kevin probably still has that AOL account.
So James,
yes, sir.
Scott was on earlier.
Yes.
We were talking. We actually before we went live, we were talking with James. He's actually going to be not that far from you. So look forward to hearing from him very, very soon when it gets over, so y'all can get together and catch up.
I will be soon working at the Blue Byte office. It's called Blue Byte, but it is an affiliate with Ubisoft, and they are located in Dusseldorf. And the plan is right now, knock on wood, barring no other major catastrophes, that my son and I, Owen, will be there hopefully by July 1.
Which actually,
we were supposed to have been there last year, but as we all know, the world went insane, and we have, I've been working remote ever since. But the plan is to be over there for probably about a year, maybe 2. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, the plan is to be over there for about a year.
pervert you and draw you into the bad things. Like
Right, I know. People have been drawing me into bad things for a long time.
He's got a very, very perverted nature.
Yes. Well, look, I used to have to listen to people tell me their Clem Spike / fiction. So I've heard it all. I've heard it all. Nothing shocks me.
Well, but yeah, Steve, just to let you know, he will be there. I think we figured out he's roughly about a little over 2-hour drive from where you're at.
Like a 2-hour drive or a 3.5-hour train ride. So I'll be seeing you, my friend.
Yeah, look forward to seeing him soon. And when you do send pictures, just not those kind of pictures.
No.
Or do send those kinds of pictures.
So, and actually, I'm going to turn this over for a second to the gentleman next to me, who actually is a big fan of both the guys on the right side of the screen. So, Carl, I've been just talking away, and so do you have anything you want to ask?
Yes, Mark, tell us about that project that you're working on that you can't tell us about.
I'm in trouble.
No, I can't. But hey, look, they're gonna do a big push in October.
You can tell us who it's for.
It's ridiculous.
What can you tell us? What have you been up to, Mark? What are you
For
been up to?
AWA, they're printing Frank Cho's. Yeah, they're printing Frank Cho's. AWA is printing Frank Cho's Fight Girls. But I shouldn't bring up Frank Cho, so.
It's okay. I'm all right. I mean, just because he was a spiteful bastard doesn't mean you have to stop bringing things up.
Frank, so he's so witty. He can outwit himself. Yes.
Oh yeah, he witted himself right into not having any of his books in my shop. Yeah.
Oh wow. Oops.
When he does those nudie drawings,
Yeah,
he can't help himself.
I can be a fan of the product being put out without being a fan of the person doing it. I know many people doing that. There's many TV shows and movies and comic books where I'm a fan of the overall product, but the people doing it can die and go to hell.
But this is all come full circle though, because we got for Krista nudity pictures, and now Krista has a Mark Texeira.
Yeah, actually,
picture on her wall.
That's the worst part. Yeah, I'm upset at Frank Cho for drawing my daughter a nude picture when she was young. Yet when the last time Mark was down, he asked my daughter what she wants. She says, draw me a naked woman, and he gives her a freaking beautiful watercolor naked woman painting, which is still on her wall to this day.
It's all about perspective.
At least it was. Hopefully, it was a graceful watercolor. I don't want to see the image, but yes.
Oh, it was a beautiful piece, but you gave my daughter a freaking naked woman.
Wait, is that what Krista asked for?
Yes, it was what she asked for.
So Krista asked for a naked woman, and she got a naked woman.
Yeah, so
picture.
All right, so
you guys need to start saying the word picture after those sentences.
So
people are going to start thinking Mark actually gave her a
picture. Yes.
Picture.
Yes.
I don't know if you've been following the news these days. Not such a hot idea.
So we actually have a nice little fun story involving Mark. Last time Mark was down here, Carl here actually commissioned Mark to do a Ghost Rider piece. Well, Mark was here, he worked on it, and he finished it. Yeah, there we go. There's a naked woman. Yeah, there you go.
That's something out of. That's another woman I'm working on there.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
That's awesome.
But just to
she's not completely naked.
Well, it's a nice little butt shot. But so just to inform anybody, be very specific when you ask Mark for a commission, because last time Mark was here, Carl commissioned Mark for a Ghost Rider piece. Mark wrote on the back of the piece, it said Carl Wallace, Ghost Rider. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Carl got way more than he paid for it. He got the most beautiful piece. It's got like 13 characters on the thing. It's got all like Lady Death and Wolverine
Tank
and
Girl.
Spider-Man and Tank Girl, all these
Tank Girl.
gorgeous characters. But guess what? The one character that's not on there is
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider.
Look, if Wolverine was naked, totally worth it.
Well, I got a
and
Tank
without
Girl,
skin and head on fire.
and I'm a big Tank Girl fan, so I'm totally okay with it.
I did get a Ghost Rider in my sketchbook that we can't talk about.
Yeah, there was a lot of penises drawn on it as well.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, this has gone even further off the rails.
No, I think it just got lost in the conversations. I just kept drawing when we were talking, and
It gave
2 or 3 hours later.
with Ghost Rider, it gave a whole new meaning to the word boner.
Oh my gosh.
Can I say ghost jizz?
It's there. It's in the list.
It has ghost jizz.
Behave yourselves.
It's Scott. We were at the Nip and Tuck last night with Ning talking about this stuff.
Ghost jizz?
Oh my god.
You've been there. We brought you the Nip and Tuck, right? Or-
Yeah, actually, I enjoyed the dip. Yeah, actually, Mark, I actually went up to finally go visit. Went up to New Jersey and visit Ming and Mike up there at the Secret Stash. Then we also took the train into New York.
We invited you.
I know, but I've got to be able to get off work.
2014.
I was able to get off work this time. Leave me alone. But so we get up there and we decided one of the days we took the train into New York, and I've got video. I'll have to send you the video. I am standing in Times Square doing a video, and I did a 360 video spinning around in the middle of Times Square, and there may be 20 people in the video.
Wow. That is crazy. It's starting to improve, starting to get bigger now, better.
It was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it.
Yeah, but
I mean, I was up there, and seeing everybody and
Broadway's coming back
DJ and a bunch of people showed us a great time.
They just opened up 75% now for all places, so it's getting better.
We live in Mississippi, everything's open.
Yeah, and people have left New York because the rent is too high. So.
Do what, Mark?
The rent went up, even though everyone was leaving New York. The rent went up.
Well,
Really?
I mean,
How is that
honestly,
possible?
as when we're going through, like one of the worst things that happened while we were there is as we're going around. We'd been there for a few hours, and
It snowed.
And we got to the point where let's just say our drinking. We have water and Coke, no alcoholic beverages whatsoever, but our drinking outweighed our bladder capacity. And everybody kept telling us, well, hey, just go to McDonald's and buy some French fries or a hamburger, use the bathroom in there. No, not right now. So as we're there, we end up calling an Uber to go back to the train station just to be able to use the bathroom. Luckily, as we get into the Uber, we're like, I mentioned, isn't it a shame we called an Uber to go to the bathroom at the train station? And the Uber driver was like, dude, you can't use the bathrooms there. They're all closed down. And we're like, what? Well, what do we do? And basically, we end up having to go to one of the homeless parks to use one of the bathrooms there. And quite honestly, at that point, it was probably the best bathroom I've ever gone into. I mean, it was just so nice and sweet. It doesn't matter about smell, doesn't matter about ambiance. All it mattered was just relief.
That's like a movie, just trying to find a bathroom in New York City.
Honestly, that's like a 30-second short trying to
Like the old Alka-Seltzer ads.
Then we all shot.
And
Yeah, the building.
you don't want to get a ticket in New York.
Do I know?
You don't want a ticket in New York, so yeah, that's.
Especially not for public urination.
Well, that was the worst part. Everybody afterwards kept saying, well, why did you piss in the street? I'm like, this isn't New Orleans.
I mean, you can get away with it in New Orleans.
I'm going to step away for 1 second. I got a phone call. Be right back. I'll leave you to these two guys. 1 second.
All right.
Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah. No, in New York, I think it's under falls under a public exposure or something. So
Oh,
it's
like a
almost
public
a,
indecency
you
kind of
get
thing?
Yeah.
That's
it
a
does.
sex
You
offender.
get put on
rap.
a pedophile list just
Yeah.
for peeing in the street.
You do.
So-
I do. I had a friend of mine in New
You
Jersey
don't
when
wanna
we
do
were
that.
young. He got that.
I remember when we went to Europe in London.
I'd
They
rather
had,
pee on myself and deal with it.
they were faced like outside, so like when you went to the bathroom, like your butt was facing like open air in London. Like they were porta potties, but they just had like these two walls, and that's it. It was open to the back, and I was like, well, that's weird.
Yeah.
Rachel, where are you originally from?
Me,
Yeah.
Mobile,
That's you grew up in Mobile.
Alabama, and I lived in Huntsville, and then I moved to the West Coast.
Okay. There's a slight like Philly accent going on there.
I don't know. I say weird words. I say water.
Yeah, that's like a Philly thing.
Also, the water doesn't have a D in it.
No.
Alabama needs when she speaks.
Yeah, I just say weird words.
What is Scott doing?
So, Mark, what
Let me
else
close my windows.
comment? Oh, Mark,
I don't think you hear
Oh,
it.
there
What
you
else
go.
can I talk about?
running around.
Can he tell you about Amway?
I'm working on like. I'm working
Wow,
on
yeah,
settings
that's
and oil
awesome.
paintings.
That's
so I'm
really
working on my tech.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm working on my technique, trying to get the softer blue tones,
Is that one of
and
your
the warm tones.
That's gorgeous.
This is just starting. Just having. I got an easel. I got a French easel right by here, so I kind of just play with. When I get bored, which is right here. So, which I can't talk about right now. So.
So you can't talk.
But the last page of this book finally shows a character.
Guys, I want to introduce y'all to a very good friend of mine who actually is coming in from California. This is Jessie.
Hello.
Jessie is,
Here, I'll scoot.
she's done, yeah, sorry, step out your way. Jessie has, also, just like you, James, done quite a bit of commercials. She's done M&M commercials. She was the Cootie Queen on the Orbitz commercial. She was,
Wow.
I've got a lot of them. I've been lucky. Now the pandemic stopped everything, so I'm drinking vodka.
Sounds about right.
I have a pineapple cider if you like to chase it.
Well, so we've been going on actually about as long as I was planning on. I wanted to thank everybody for coming by. James, thank you. Mark,
Absolutely.
We'll bring you on whenever you can actually get here on time next time. And
Wow, the passive aggressive is strong here.
I'm sorry. No, Mark, I'll call you soon, buddy.
This project's got me inking. I'm inking till 4 or 5 in the morning, so I'm really up till like noon.
You're not supposed to be showing people
But
that.
that's just a city scene. That's a city. That could be anything.
It looks great though.
It does.
Well, guys, thank you all once again for coming in.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Yeah.
James, thank you. Mark, thank you.
Of course.
CJ, thanks for coming in.
Thank you. This is my first. This is my debut show. Yes.
This is your debut stream.
That's awesome.
We're going to do it again. I'll get with you. We're going to do it again. Matter of fact, I'll probably call you not long after tonight because, yeah, I'll probably call you first thing in the morning or maybe later on in the morning.
My debut stream too.
And let me thank you.
Wow.
But everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. And
Absolutely.
next time.
I'll see you in
See
3
everybody
weeks.
later.
3 weeks, right? 3 weeks. I'll see you, Scott.
Yes,
Bye, guys.
yeah. Well, you'll also see us down in PitzCon in about 3 weeks.
Can't wait.
All right,
Oh, are
guys.
they doing PetsCon?
Yes, it's going
Awesome.
on in 3 weeks.
That's great.
Maybe
Tell everybody I said
3
hello.
weeks.
we will as soon as I stop going live, we'll talk real quick.
Okay, cool.
All right. Bye, guys.